And why don't you introduce yourself individually and what your plan is for today? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Jen, you want to start?
All right, I'll start. And let's see. What we want to do today, we picked a topic that we thought would be general, but would be able to encompass what everybody's dealing with. So we named it Releasing Overwhelm and Choosing a Positive Path Forward. And let me back up 1 second to introduce myself. I was expecting Dawson to be doing that, so I didn't put my little notes down. I am a psychotherapist in the Washington, D.C. area. I've been tapping for about 20 years, and I've been training with EFT-Universe for 10 years or so. Happy to be on this call and always happy to work with EFT-Universe and to do the trainings and meet so many people excited about learning this work. What we're going to do is take a couple of minutes, Rebekka and I, to each give you a perspective of what we have observed people dealing with coronavirus and with the protests and other stresses that 2020 have brought. I also heard an astrologist say that the eclipse this weekend is going to be a doozy, so hold on to your hats. Who knows what's coming next? But what I have found is, not surprisingly, that every single person is having their own very, very unique experience. Some are having lots of emotions. Some are actually very calm and things are improving for them and they're finding increased value in their home and in their family. Some are angry that people are following the rules, that people are not following the rules, that things are open, that things are closed. People are finding themselves easily triggered and easily frustrated at family members or even at their pets in some cases, and they're not always making the connection with the overwhelm that we're all, and the anxiety and stress that we're all handling. So as we start to carry too much, we get triggered in different ways, and it looks like there's a simple thing bothering us, but really it's a bigger issue that we're carrying a lot of unresolved emotions. I've noticed a lot of people that are in fear. They're in financial fear. They're in fear about the unknown. There's a lot of sadness about what is this going to look like? What is my new life look like? Is it going to be permanently different? It's sometimes different based on age. I actually read a study that for millennials, some of their financial fears have actually lessened for various reasons, while some of the financial fears of the Gen Zers have actually increased a little bit, sort of in the same category. Everything has been disrupted. Younger people talk about the loss of tradition and weddings and going to college, and young parents and parents of all ages unsettled because there's no routine around school and their kids aren't going to school. And I spoke with someone this week who said that her county is giving them the option: do you want your children to come to school for 2 days, or do you want them to come to school for no days? So big choices and big life-changing decisions for children and for parents. So everybody's having their own particular unique experience. And sometimes when people have a unique experience, they think, what's wrong with me? I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling guilty, and everybody else is angry. But it's easy to see that there are reasons that we're having these unique experiences because they're based on our past. One more thing before I turn it over to Rebekka. When my daughter and I did a call a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned a quick survey we took on a Georgetown University alumni call where we were teaching tapping. And we just did a quick survey seeing what emotions people were noticing. And on that call, 88% of the people were identifying with having increased anxiety, 67% with increased frustration, 50% with fear, 47 with grief, and 31 with increased anger. So a lot of people feeling a lot of things. And that's why we're excited to share with you the simple tools. Some of you are probably experts and some of you aren't, but we want to just do some simple tapping with you today. And Rebekka, you're up.
Now, I just muted myself. Thank you. So I just wanted to introduce myself shortly. My name is Rebekka Zafarbakhshian. I live in Hamburg, Germany, and I'm working as a trainer and coach for EFT. And the way I found EFT, or EFT found me, is that when I was working in the corporate world for over 20 years, due to a lot of stress, symptoms were like developing in my body, and really severe symptoms like leaky gut, inflamed stomach, thyroid dysfunction, food allergies, and low energy levels, and all the bad emotions around it. So and on top of that, in the end, I had a car accident with a tree. So that was when I thought something has to change, and it was actually me. So I tried a lot of things, and alternative things, and I've learned a lot. But what really helped me was EFT. And so with EFT, my body got into balance again, and all the symptoms disappeared. And so 2016, I decided to leave that corporate world and to become a trainer and coach, and to give this tool to other people so they can live a happy, healthy, and self-determined life. Because, if you are in stress, or you're controlled by the hormones of stress, you don't really live a self-determined life. You're always controlled by those stress hormones. And stress triggers are very individual, as Jen just said. And, some people love skydiving and others don't like to fly, even if it's first class. So before Corona, people got triggered by the coworkers, the company, the boss, the tax office, or on a larger scale by politics, economics, or whatever. And now people, we talked about it before, Jen and I, we had an exchange before, as I'm living in Germany and she's living in the US, so to have an exchange on the experiences. So what I was experiencing here is like people are getting angry about the social distancing, wearing a mask. In Germany, there was a limitation of the basic laws, and people are angry about being rude and being tracked. And then there is fear of getting sick, or of poverty, or even the vaccination. And so with the lockdown, then there came around emotions around relationship issues, problems being locked together with a partner for weeks, sadness of not being able to see family members and friends. So it's very individual. And so it's a new situation, but these are the same negative emotions. So when people are trapped in the emotions, they are not able to find creative solutions, because the frontal lobe is not working and there's no access to the creative brain. And so now the pain is so strong that no one can ignore it anymore. And everyone is like seeing change is needed, and change always starts within. So this is the chance to face the challenge today, clear the negative emotions around it, and shift energies so everyone can find solutions and make a move by themselves. So that's why we chose this topic, releasing overwhelm and choosing a positive path forward. So Jen, do you want to explain a little bit the term of overwhelm? What we are tapping around today.
Okay, there we are. Sorry, I had trouble unmuting myself. Yeah, so first of all, let me say you can start tapping anytime during the call. And those of you that are familiar with tapping, you as we get more experience, we find that sometimes we'll just start talking and all of a sudden we're tapping. So as we start to talk and even use the word overwhelm, or as we give our examples, and you start to notice your physical body having some reaction, just tap along any points. You won't disturb the audio, the visual here that we're all seeing, and tap anywhere that you choose to. So keep that in mind, and we'll start tapping fairly soon. But the idea of overwhelm, again, is the idea that I'm full of emotions. I've got too much in my sort of bucket of emotions now, and I could manage those or keep those packed down, but now it's over the top. And so it's starting to leak out, and I'm starting to be sticky with people and react to people. And I don't quite know what's wrong with me, and maybe I'm calling it stress or overwhelm. Oftentimes people think, well, it's not me, it's because the boss isn't handling the situation correctly, or it's not me, it's because I've got my family members on top of me. But really, it's that we're just full, our bucket's full of emotions. And now if you do one more thing and the mailman puts the letter in the wrong way, then we get triggered. And we often think, well, the mailman needs to stop doing that. But really, as Rebekka said, it comes back to me. And that's the good news about tapping. It's a tool that we can use to take care of ourselves, like one that I haven't known before, EFT. So if I'm triggered, I have a tool that I can deal with that triggering, and I can start to work down and get some of those excess emotions out of my bucket. So your overwhelm or your excess stress or tension, what's in your past and in your present, are completely different based on your situation. So today we'll be tapping more generally, because we won't get to everybody's past and childhood. But we'll, as we say the words, your body, you'll notice your body start to react. Even if we say overwhelm, stress, anxiety, if you start to pay attention to your physical body, you'll already notice that there's a response there. So overwhelm, again, is just simply too much of something. It's not really an emotion in itself. You could equate it with stress and anxiety, but the way we're thinking of it is that I just got too much and I couldn't handle it. It's too much of something. My bucket is full of emotions, and so I need to tap some of them out. And as we know, high rates of overwhelm and stress will eventually impact the physical functioning of the body. As Rebekka was sharing about being in the corporate world, at some point it's too much and the body starts to respond and say, I can't do this anymore. So today what we're going to try to do is empty some of that emotional backlog that's in there that you haven't addressed yet. And this becomes a daily practice. It's not something you do when you have an EFT session or 4 times a day or 10 times a week. It's something you really incorporate into your life to tap as an emotional charge comes to your attention. And that can be a slight irritation or fear of something you see on the news or a headline that makes you angry. It's often we think the problem is out there, and certainly there are plenty of problems today, but what we have control over is what's inside and how am I reacting. So this is something that we make a general habit of dealing with our emotions as we have reactivity. Then we can get to a calmer, neutral place where we can be rational and maybe have a positive impact on the world. So why is my response different? Because I had a different childhood. I have a different family line. I've had different experiences that pushed me or didn't push me. And normally with one-on-one sessions, we'll look at some of those individual differences. But in the group today, we're going to keep it very general. And I just want to point that out, because when you're doing work with yourself or with clients, it's important to get more specific. We can drill down a little more, but today it's going to be sufficient to go with us generally and then notice how your physical body is responding. One more thing I wanted to say about the bucket is the bucket of our emotions that we have. It isn't that we're trying to get to where we have no emotional response. People will say, well, I don't want to be a robot. I should be angry at this, right? And we are trying to get rid of the backlog of emotions so that when you see a headline today, you might be angered or have a response, but what we're trying to eliminate is how you're responding to what happened in 5th grade when you didn't like what the editor put in the newspaper in 5th grade. We don't need to carry that anymore. So we're trying to start getting the bottom of that bucket out so that my response today is proportionate. It's more, doesn't have to be rational, but it's more normal. It makes more sense rather than me going way off the rails if somebody cuts me off in traffic. That's what road rage is about. It's because somebody is at the top of their emotional tolerance and then someone cuts them off and it triggers their belief, for example, that I'm not important, or you have to go last, or I never get what I deserve, or something like that. So that's why our responses are unique. That's why we get overloaded, because we have past emotions that we haven't cleared up yet. Some of those are experiences we know about. Some of us have worked on those in therapy, sometimes for 10 or 15 years, and sometimes it didn't do anything. And with tapping, sometimes we can get right to the heart of it. by getting right into the emotions. And as we go through the emotions today, in very general terms, follow very closely and attentively how your body responds, because it's kind of a shortcut to clear out those old emotions in the bucket by following the neural networks in your brain and the responses in your body, because those actually take us all the way back. So sometimes you can clear old stuff without even doing the hard work and talking about them. So very possible to get good results with general tapping, even though we often say the gold standard is specific tapping on specific incidents. So we'll tap mostly on general today, and we'll guess at what some of your common experiences are. And we'll try to check the chat. I'll try to check it when Rebekka's talking and vice versa, because I found out last time I can't talk and read the chat. I know younger people can, but I'm not able to do that anymore. So tap along, even if it doesn't seem to apply to you and you don't even identify with what we're saying, your body will, at a very minimum, de-stress. And so, as Rebekka said at the beginning, we're going to poke and prod a little bit, not because we're trying to make you feel bad. We're just trying to look for the, kind of like looking for a splinter so we can go ahead and pull it out. We're looking to activate you, not uncomfortably, but just enough so that you can then tune in, watch your body. If you feel like you're too overwhelmed, just put your attention on your physical body and keep tapping. So about the negative, just quickly. So we're going to be, it sounds like we're negative. Why are you saying all that negative stuff? We're just doing it to activate it enough to help you clear it. And that's the magic of tapping, is we're actually tuned in to something that's causing us to respond, and we're giving the body this contradictory calming signal. That's the essence of tapping. We're doing a tiny version of exposure therapy by saying, ooh, look at that thing. And then we're giving the body a calming signal to say, yeah, but I'm okay right now. This awful thing, I'm okay right now. And the body realizes, oh, that's okay, I guess. We're not in fight or flight. Everything updates, and we become more neutral and less responsive to the problem. And then we'll make sure we end on a positive note. So if you get triggered, don't go away and think it's too much for you. Stay with us, keep tapping. We'll definitely wrap it up on a really cheery note, right, Rebekka? She's smiling. And we'll put everybody back together before we finish today. Okay, Rebekka has a few more comments before we start tapping.
Yeah. Yes, and thank you for this picture with the bucket and the old stuff. That's what I meant when I said, it's the new situations, but it's the same old emotions, because the triggers are just active and working on the underneath the surface. So what we do, we are using, we will tap around several emotions, and we will use general language. And it's like a buffet. So we want everyone to have an experience, to have a shift. So we are working on different kind of emotions using that general language. And what is actually happening on the scientific side, that the part of your brain where your memory is stored, which is the hippocampus, finds real events with a similar signature. And then the body releases stress around your situation while we tap. So we call this borrowing benefits, and this is the term borrowing benefits, and it actually means everyone will benefit when we are working in groups. And that's because the hippocampus has the job to finding similar events. And when you are at a workshop and you watch the tapping session of someone else on the stage, for example, and you tap along while you keep your own situation in your mind, then actually your mirror neurons, the English word, are helping you to release those energies. And so that's what we do today. We will tap along with you, and you are going to borrow benefits. So our words will be general, and they just help you to tune in something for you to tap on today. And as you tap along, just notice your thoughts, your physical sensations, or your emotions, or anything else that is coming up, that can be memories from the past. If so, it's worth to have something to write so you can make a note of them and come back and work on those subjects later on. So, and the words we use are not so important for you. It's just like more important that you tune into your body and see what body sensation comes up. When we talk about feelings, we actually mean the body sensation. And in EFT, we have, two main terms we use. It's either the body sensation, which we also call feelings, and we have emotions. So these are the different terms and the different feelings and emotions we have a look for. And they are more important to recognize those than getting perfect in the words. So don't worry about using the right words. Just tune in and tap along with us. And if you have a specific event that's perfect too, just make a little note of it, set the intention to work on this issue. And just by setting the intention to work on this issue, your body is already processing this issue while you tap along with this. So, and how do you realize when your body is shifting energies? Actually, there's a couple of signs that where you can see that your body is shifting energies, but I want to point out one particular is like, because before I knew this, that this is just a sign of shifting energies, I actually felt guilty when I did it in public, which is like yawning. In the past, I thought yawning is a sign of being tired or bored, which is not. It's like your body is relaxing, and then you start to yawn. So we love you to see yawning. So if you have that feeling of yawning, just let it out. And that's fine. It's just one sign that you are shifting energies. So, and just for the records, because of the current times, we will be tapping also on the face. So make sure you got clean hands, and then we can actually just start. And so let's start. If you have a specific issue you want to tap on, that's great. Just make a little note and set the intention to work on this issue. And otherwise, just tap along and borrow benefits. So think about, just to begin with, overwhelm and stress, because this is like a big, not a specific feeling, not a specific emotion, overwhelm, but just think about overwhelm and stress. And you can even close your eyes and just tune into your body and see, where do you feel it? Is there any tension or any pain? And how does it feel? And we want to go, we just want to recognize first, where in your body and what part of your body can you feel it? And then we get very specific, like we study this body sensation. So have a look. What shape does this body sensation has? Is it solid? Is it fluid? Is it, gassy? What is it, 2D or 3D? What size is it? What is the color of it? And is it warm or cold, or is it neutral? So check the temperature of it. And is it radiating somewhere? So really study that body sensation around this overwhelm, around this stress. And then on a scale of 0 to 10, when 0 is like no intensity and 10 is the highest intensity. How intense is that body sensation? How intense is that body sensation? And every number that's coming up is right. So just write down the number, make a note so we can check later on the progress, the shifts, so you can realize the changes. So everyone, tune in and get a number. And then we're going to start to tap. You just tap along with me, and you're muted, so please, if you want to, then you can follow my words. But just as we said, more important is like tuning into your body. And if you get really overwhelmed, then open your eyes, because it anchors you in the here and now. So we start as the side of the hand point, which we call also karate chop point, and it doesn't matter which side of the hand you use, just one of them, and we check in. We check in, even though I feel this overwhelm in my body, I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I have all these feelings in my body, I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I'm feeling all this stress in my body, I accept myself and how I feel. And now we give that feelings a voice, and we tap through the points. And we start at the top of the hand, all these feelings in my body. Eyebrow point, so much to deal with. Side of the eye, all at once. Under the eye makes me feel overwhelmed. Under nose, all this tension in my body. Chin point, all this pain in my body. Collarbone points, all this stress in my body. And then it's like one hand under the arm. For the ladies, it's like the bra line. All the stressful thoughts. Yeah. And we do some rounds directly and go back to karate chop point. All these voices, head, top of the head, all these voices in my head. Eyebrow point, all these voices in my environment. Side of the eye, so much information. Under the eye, all these thoughts. Under the nose, and I wonder if I can calm it down. Chin point, all these voices in my head. Collarbone point, all these feelings in my body. Under the arm, it's just too much. And another one, karate chop point. All the stress carried in my body. Top of the head, it feels so heavy. Eyebrow, I don't know what exactly I am feeling. Side of the eye, there is a part in me under the eye that doesn't feel safe. Under the nose, it's so noisy that I can't feel anything else. Chin point, and I can't think properly. Collarbone point, maybe I need to listen. Under the arm, so my body can start to relax. One more. This heavy feeling in my body, karate chop. Top of the head, it's not beneficial. Eyebrow, I choose to explore, side of the eye, what's lying underneath all this overwhelm. Under the nose, making this new choice. Chin point, setting a new start point. Collarbone, setting my energy in motion. Taking a journey inside to myself. Under the arm, now this is my mission. All right. Inhale, exhale. All right. So tune into your body and check again the intensity on the scale when 0 is like no intensity and 10 is a very high intensity, I mean the highest intensity. So check if it changed. And did it go up, or does it went down, or is it still the same? Just tune into it and see what shifted. If it went up, we hit something. So we're on the right track to dig deeper, you know? If it went down, just please be aware that every single number it goes down is a gain. Because with every single number, even if it's just 1, you got a new starting point. You're going to react, think, and talk differently when the trigger is coming up again. So every single number is a gain. Also, just notice if something else came up. Notice, and then make a note of it. Just make a little note so you can come back and work on it. Notice what changed. Is this the body sensation that you realized earlier very clearly, you know, the shape, the size, the colors. Notice how the body sensation changed as well. Did it move? Sometimes it moves. Did the size or the shape changed? So these are all signs, I mean, physical signs of energy shifts. And also notice whether the emotions of the overwhelm got clearer, because, I mean, as Jan just explained in the beginning, overwhelm is like a collection, like a pile of several emotions. It's like it's like an onion. And you start to peel the onion, and then you find that there are other emotions underneath, and try to identify actually what emotions or what emotion was coming up for you exactly right now. So there can be frustration, anger, sadness, fear. And so in the beginning now, just for the setup, we did the tapping on the overwhelm, and now we start to peel the onion and to go into specific emotions. And even specific emotions, there is still the onion, but that we will explain later on. So maybe let me have a quick look at the chat. So from 9 to 7, Liliana, from 5 to 2, that's great. And from 10 to 7, 8 to 4. So great. So, you know, that's already a shift. You're already on a different track, on a path. The shift is in progress. and love to see it polar, 7-4, beautiful. So I think, so we dropped down a little bit on the intensity, 10-5, or you dropped a little bit the intensity. So now I think we can dig a little bit deeper. So Jen, do you want to take over for some tapping on one of the emotions?
So I'll just pick up and we'll see what comes up here. I'll start to tap. And if you want to put in the chat what came up as you started to tap down the physical sensations, if you became aware of another emotion. What we had next on the list to go to was irritation, frustration, annoyance. So I'll go ahead with that. If somebody has something particular that they want to put in the chat, I can try to address it in this round. So it's important to notice where you are at each beginning of each round, so you can check at the end to see where you ended up. So we have the reporting here of 9 to 7, 5 to 2, 10 to, etc. So what we have to make sure we understand is what exactly went from 10 to 7, 8 to 4. And with Rebekka's rounds, we were doing pretty general stress in the body and overwhelm. So those are some pretty good reductions. I actually felt myself starting to get really relaxed, and I was hoping she would do the rest of the show because I wanted to follow her. That was great tapping. Someone put powerlessness in. So we'll throw that into. Let me go ahead with a couple of general, more specific emotions, but we're still very general when we use the name of an emotion like powerlessness or irritation or frustration. And as Rebekka said, your body will find the similarities and tap on your particular issue. So keep track of what you're tapping on, or just go along with us. Either way is fine. And notice where your SUDS is now, on the overall stress or on something in particular that you're working on, and then you can just forget about it and tap along. And I think I'll just go with a couple of these. So even though I'm feeling, and you can say aloud or you can just feel this in your body, sometimes talking gets in the way, so you can just follow my voice. Even though I'm feeling powerless, I accept the way that I'm feeling. Even though I'm feeling powerless, I accept that that's what I'm feeling right now. I don't like it, but I recognize it. I acknowledge it. I feel powerlessness in my body, fatigue, powerlessness, maybe frustration. And I accept that that's where I am in this moment. And I'm going to stay in my physical body, and I'm going to feel these emotions and give my body this calming signal so that my body can release these emotions. So my intention now is to release these emotions. So just have that intention and notice what that does to your body as we set the intention to release powerlessness, release remaining overwhelmed, release fatigue, and notice fatigue in your body, what that looks like, feels like, as Rebekka guided you to a moment ago. Is fatigue heavy? Is it dark? Is it concentrated? Heavy fatigue, powerlessness, frustration. Those are all signs that we're overwhelmed and we have too much and the body starts to shut down. I give my body intention, permission to release all of that old energy, new energy, whatever it is. Releasing stress, tension, darkness, untruth, overwhelm, frustration. Releasing frustration. Releasing frustration. Regardless of the source or what's triggering me, just notice in my physical body all that frustration, heaviness, fatigue, it's too much for me. Releasing that now. I'm going to do another round and just talk a little bit, trying to poke a little bit to help you pull up the emotions so that you can then stay with them and breathe and allow them to release. Feeling powerless, feeling frustrated and irritable, feeling at all. I don't want to feel any of these things, but I accept that I am feeling heavy, heavy fatigue, powerlessness, releasing anything in the body that's not peaceful, letting go of powerlessness, releasing frustration, releasing fatigue. I don't really always want to let it go because I want somebody to just fix the situation and stop doing what they're doing, and then I'll let it go. But to take care of myself in the moment, I'm going to release these emotions. And then I'll address the outside world, letting go and releasing frustration, powerlessness, overwhelm. So let's go back, and if you can get a word for where you are right now, it could be overwhelm, stress, anxiety, frustration, fatigue. Just notice where you are individually and where your suds is right now. For some people, it's grief. Just notice your word and notice what number pops up in your mind associated with that word for a suds level. You don't have to do a lot of searching. Whatever number you get, like Rebekka said, is correct. So notice what it is, and then we're going to go through the 9 gamut. So focus on your particular emotion and notice where you are. And you're going to tap on the point between your pinky and your ring finger, right on your hand there. And that's the 9 gamut point. So we're still doing a lot of general emotions, but you're focusing on yours. And our intention is to release all of this stress from the physical body, whatever words you want to call it, and however nicely we say it. We're trying to get heaviness, fatigue, grief, stress out of the body. Okay, so think of your emotion: fed up, in grief, fatigue, frustration, powerlessness. And then close your eyes and then open your eyes. And we're tuning in to how our body's feeling and what thoughts are going through our mind even. Now look hard down to the right with your eyes. Bring your eyes back up. Hard down to the left with your eyes. Bring your eyes back up. Keep feeling. Keep tuning in. That's the magic of the whole process, is to tune in and do the calming tapping. Tuning in and tapping. So notice you're fed up of a 9. I'm in grief. I'm exhausted and fatigued. I'm frustrated. I'm powerless and hopeless. Whatever that is, and all of those. We probably have little pieces of all of it, if not from what's happening today, from our past. So just notice all that could be in your body. Now in front of you, imagine a giant clock right at your face, and we're going to go through the numbers of the clock, counterclockwise first. So look, keeping your head straight up at 12 o'clock, and we're tuning into all these feelings, and you're going to go around the clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, slowly if you can, trying to catch every minute or at least every 5th minute on the clock and go fully around. Take a minute to do that nice and smoothly. You can do it a couple of times. All this grief, overwhelm, fatigue, being fed up. Make sure you're still breathing, you're grounded, you're in your physical body. We have to be in the present moment to let this energy clear out. Keep breathing, keep tapping. And now let's go the other direction. We're tuning in and we're going around the clock in the opposite direction of what you just did. Nice and slow, trying to catch every minute on the clock and trying to keep your head still. And you can do that a couple of times too. And notice sometimes we have resistance to releasing, but in this call, in this moment, we're setting the intention to release. For my highest good, I want to release all of this yucky stuff. And now we hum to activate the right brain. So you can hum any tune. And then let's count backwards from 50 by 2s. 50, 48, 46, 44, 42, 40, 38. I hope I did that right. We're activating the left brain. So we're keeping our left brain online and our right brain online. And now we'll hum again. And now we'll tap back through the points. all this powerlessness, frustration, whatever yours is that you're tuning into, fatigue in the body, grief in the body, fed up, just fed up. You can tap with one hand, both hands. You can alternate tap. It's all okay. It's okay if you miss points. Under the arm. Oftentimes people don't do the liver point on the chest. It's where the breast meets the chest wall. And for men, right below the nipple. It's an important point for clearing emotions. You can tap there if you're comfortable. And then come back to the karate chop point. All these emotions, make sure you're breathing and tune back in and notice what came up. Notice if you get a different suds, if you ask, what is my suds now? Or if now your attention is elsewhere. And if you want to put it in the chat, you can, just to say what did or didn't happen, or what went up or what went down, or what came to your attention. And I'll just keep tapping for a moment before I turn it back over. So we're releasing irritation, frustration, annoyance. I'm fed up. I'm accepting that I feel that way, and my intention is to release it. Part of me doesn't really want to release it. I'd rather be mad, frustrated, and angry. I want this to stop. But in this moment, on this call, we're giving ourselves permission to feel that and release it. So someone used the word in the tap, neutral, feeling a little bit more neutral. And sometimes, like I'm saying, we resist being neutral because we think we should be responsive. I should have a position. I should be active. I should speak out. I should not be neutral. So we're not trying to be neutral so that we don't care and we're emotionless. We're trying to be neutral so we stay empowered and we have access to our rational thinking brain. And then we can make good strategies about how to handle a very difficult situation. So one more round and I'll let Rebekka take it over. I allow myself to feel a little bit more neutral, a little bit more relaxed. I accept how I'm feeling, and my intention is to release old emotions that are heavy and that make me tired and that make me sad. And anything that's being triggered today in my current life that's tying back to something in the past, my intention is to release that, to release the pain of it, not the memories, not the experience, not the learning, just the emotional heaviness and charge that I'm carrying in my body. So letting go of what's no longer serving me, letting go of the need to be right, the need to be the benefits of having had those emotions. I'm choosing now to allow myself into a state of peace and calm. Rebekka, you ready to pick up?
Yes. Thank you. That was beautiful. And yeah, someone wrote relaxed. I think everyone shifted already some energy. Just make a note. I mean, just notice what shifted, what changed, and honor yourself to do that work, to tap on those subjects, actually to look at it, and to have the courage to look at it and do the work, and so you can process it, so it can integrate actually. So I just experienced in my environment, a lot of people got very angry. As you said, fed up, and many people got angry, and everyone is triggered by something else. See if you got really angry about something currently or recently, and there can be anger around the masks, about social distancing, about school or specific persons. So notice if there's something that is triggering you, or something has triggered you just recently, and how does your body experience that? I mean, tune into your body. Whether it's anger, it can be anything else, of course. Then just set the intention to work whatever is coming up for you. And again, study this body sensation. Really study it again. The size, the color, whatever. And write down the intensity again on the scale, 0 to 10. How intense is that body sensation according to the emotion? And then we go to tap just a little bit on this. I use terms around anger, but you can, in your mind, you just can tune in or choose anything else. So let's start again. We check in. Even though I feel this anger in my body, I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I have all this rage in my body, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling all this anger in my body, I accept myself and how I feel. Top of the head, all this anger. Eyebrow, I can feel it in my body. Side of the eye, feeling all that rage. Under the eye, feeling so annoyed. Nose, under the nose, about what is happening. Chin point, feeling hard to hold my temper. Collarbone, feeling all this anger. Under the arm, feeling all this rage in my body. Reactivity, yes. Karate chop. I'm feeling so upset. Top of the head, about all the limitations. Eyebrow, about the distancing. Side of the eye, about people not keeping the distance. Under the eye, about all the rules. Under the nose, about people not sticking to the rules. Chin point, about the feeling of being ruled. Collarbone, about the feeling of being tracked. Under the arm, about the feeling of being trapped. Karate chop. All this anger in my body. Top of the head, I wonder where it comes from. Eyebrow, this isn't really me. Side of the eye, I just don't feel safe. Under the eye, with all these things happening. Under the nose, I wonder how other people cope with it. Chin point, it feels so strange. Collarbone, it shouldn't be that way. Under the arm, this is not the way I want it to be. Karate chop, this anger in my body. Top of the head, I want it to stop. Eyebrow, it's so exhausting. Side of the eye, having all this anger in my body. Under the eye, it makes me feel tired. Under the nose, it's draining my energy. Chin point, it's feeling so heavy. Collarbone, I can feel it in my body. Under the arm, this tension in my body. So inhale, exhale. And tune back into your body. What do you feel? And what's the intensity? Does anyone had a drop of the levels? Five to one, beautiful. Yeah. And Charlotte mentioned reactivity as a white privilege. Did that drop a little bit? Okay, wow. Good, Jennifer. Anger, 8 to 4. Beautiful. So I do a few more rounds of the tapping, and what we do when we stopped and we realized something shifted, we honor it when we tune in again. We honor the progress that we made. We acknowledge it, and we also speak it out. Beautiful, dropped into experience, 9 to 5, great, Charlotte. So anger actually is always, anger is often also a combination of other emotions. Anger is like a real good example for peeling the onion, because very often there is disappointment, sadness, or hopelessness underneath anger. So when you tap on anger, see if this emotion is shifting into another emotion. That can happen as well. Frustration, 9 to 4. Pain on my shoulders, 6 to 3. Beautiful. So we acknowledge the shift, and we check in again, and with the check-in, we acknowledge the shift. Even though I still feel some tension in my body, somehow something has changed. Even though I still feel some discomfort in my body, I recognize a change is already in progress. Even though I'm still feeling a little uneasy, I choose to feel safe right here, right now. Top of the head, this tension in my body. Eyebrow, around all this anger. Side of the eye, it doesn't really help me. Under the eye, it doesn't serve anyone. Under the nose, it doesn't solve the situation. Chin point, maybe my body needs a break. Collarbone, from all this anger. Under the arm, I wonder what my body needs to let go of this anger and to let go of this tension. And then tune into your body and listen to your body, what it needs to let go of this anger, of this tension, of this frustration. Under the eye, to let go of the pain on the shoulders. Ask your body what it needs to let go under the nose. Tune in and see what comes up, chin point. And collarbone. Under the arm. And breathe deeply. Breathing is so important. And yeah, thank you, Jen, for mentioning it before a couple of times. Even with the 9 gamut, breathing is so important. And again, so tune into your body and check again the intensity and look what was coming up. So what was the wisdom of your body? What does it need to let go? Because that information you can actually integrate later on when we, in the end, when we go in the positive tapping, we can integrate the answers your body actually gave you, what is needed. We can give this resources with the tapping later on as well. Yes. So, any further shifts? So please just feel free to share your experiences in the chat. And water and walk in nature. Yes. Beautiful. And very important. We dehydrate. We intend to forget to drink water, and the body needs water. Yes, because 90% of the body is made of water. So, and going out in nature, connecting with nature, it's like connecting, acceptance. So beautiful. Yes. Need to relax and go to the beach. Yeah. And I think, realizing you are not alone. Everyone is facing challenges. Just even in daily life, in normal life, and just to recognize and realize, okay, I'm feeling this, and the other person is maybe overwhelmed too. Yeah. Just helps to accept each other and the challenges everyone is, facing. Yeah. So Jen, would you like to take over for tapping a little bit further?
Thank you, Rebekka. I'll do a little bit more. I wanted to respond to a couple of the comments. Jennifer, as Rebekka said, sometimes when we get past anger on the onion, often the next step is some sort of sadness or grief will come up. And when you do find yourself emotional, especially if you're crying, you can also first of all, keep tapping for sure. But one of the important things about when we get emotional like that is to continue to focus on the body and the tension in the body and the sadness in the body, because it's easy sometimes to get distracted into the sad stories in our lives, which are real. But so you don't want to stop crying, you want to cry, but also notice how that makes your body tight or where it makes you tense up, and you can follow through with that as well. Notice the variety of responses, and let's see if that was okay. And also Charlotte put up reactivity and white privilege. So that would be a simple way to deal with that would be without dissecting all the many aspects of what that involves. For starters, you can just keep that as your target, reactivity, white privilege, and just tap on that to unpack it a little bit for you. And that will lead you to the next step to evolve what's under that for you. And another thing I was going to say, when you get to an emotion, you go down, I'm going to just tap while I'm talking here. If you have gone from an 8 to a 4 or a 9 to a 5 or a 6 to a 3, and then you're not quite sure where to go from there, you sometimes can just ask yourself, what would it take to go down one more point to a 2 from a 3 or to a 4 from a 5. We don't have to drop all at once. Sometimes it gets to a point, it'll drop in half quickly, but then it'll kind of get stuck there. So just notice we just need to move it just a little bit further. And also notice people, as we've just done a few rounds of tapping, we're already moving ourselves into relaxation and wanting to go to the beach and rest and drink water, coming to a point of acceptance. So before we turn to the positive, though, we're going to do address a couple of more emotions. And so I'm going to go to sadness and grief and loss at this point. If you're on something else, that's fine. So check in with your body and notice where you are on that general topic of sadness, grief, loss. It's different for people in different age categories. It's different based on your personal experience. So you might just pick something and just focus on it and get a SUDS level for something that does trigger you a little bit and make you sad, or longing for the way things were, or for a big loss of your life, or of a person in your life. Just notice on that particular vibration, that particular frequency of emotion, and we'll clear some of that out for now. So use your words if you want to, or just simply listen to me and follow what your body's doing. Even though my body may still be carrying some sadness, I accept that's where I am right now, and I'm okay. Even though I may have some energy of grief and loss in my physical body, I accept myself right now, and I'm going to sit with it, experience it, and breathe. Even though there's some sadness and grief that maybe I haven't even acknowledged, I'm going to sit with it and allow my body to release it. So heavy, sad feelings, nostalgia, grief, loss, the loss of the way things were, the loss of predictability and control, the loss of closeness and touch, the loss of easy banter with people outside and in retail settings and restaurants, all the losses, all the things registering in my body as losses, sadness. That may register as fatigue. Sometimes that registers as depression when it gets too heavy. Letting go of anything in that family of emotions around sadness, grief, loss. And notice where that is in your body and how that impacts your body, as a pain, as a heaviness, as a tension, as a feeling of sorrow. Sometimes our shoulders kind of cave in when we tune into that feeling. So I'm giving my body permission to feel and release any emotions that are not serving me right now, especially old emotions. All the ones we've mentioned: frustration, overwhelm, fatigue, confusion, reactivity, and sadness, grief, and loss. And sad for other people, watching what other people are going through. And grief that maybe other people are, and loss that other people are suffering in different ways, and maybe you can't do anything about. Feeling powerless, as someone said, and sad because I've lost control and I've lost some power and I've lost some agency over my life. But I'm giving my body permission now to feel and release sadness, feel and release grief, sorrow, and a reminder that some of that isn't even about today. It's just getting triggered, and it's from a long time ago. And as we get triggered today, some of those things come up for clearing. So I'm noticing that I might have some of that, and I'm giving my body permission to release that. Sadness, grief, loss. Maybe you didn't even know it was in there. Letting that go. Releasing that energy. And if anybody has anything in particular related to sadness, grief, or loss, you can put it in the chat. I can throw that in as we clear out the sadness, grief, and loss. I can't see my relatives as easily. I can't see my friends as easily. Everything is on Zoom now. Things I took for granted are gone. Will my life ever be the same? For people that are in their 70s and their 80s, is this all we're ever going to know going from this point forward? For people in their 20s and 30s, what happened to what was normal? Letting all of this go. Letting all of this go. Allowing myself to feel all that and release all that. letting go of anything negative, even if we haven't put words to it, letting go of heaviness, darkness, tension, tightness, breathing, staying in my body, noticing what I'm feeling and letting it go. Ending relationships. Sometimes relationships were put to a test through this in a lot of different ways. Some ended, some were put in under too much stress. And so feel that in your physical body, where that's registering in your body, that loss, that hit. Look at it, feel it, let it go. And we're not letting go of our history, our wisdom, our stories, our life. We're just letting go of what we're holding on to that doesn't serve us, letting go of what doesn't serve us. Letting go of what doesn't serve us. Passing of friends who had the virus. Feel that loss and let that energy of loss leave the body, not the memories of the loved one, not the agony over it and the angst about, not the story of it, but releasing the energy in your body that doesn't serve you, doesn't help to hold on to that and disempower your body, letting go of and not storing grief and loss, feeling it, honoring our loved ones that may have passed, remembering them, loving them, holding the positive memories, but letting go of the anguish that's stored in the body. Sadness, grief, and loss, releasing anything that I haven't mentioned around that, or the words that I haven't maybe said to point it out for you, letting go of your version of that. And take a deep breath and let your body release all of that. And you can put in the chat if you have any response to that. And I'll try to respond to if you've got something on that particular round. If not, we'll switch it back over. And Rebekka, I don't know if you've got another round before we switch to positive. I'll let you take over and finish up the negative and start us on the positive.
Yes, I have one more on the fear of losing control. As I think this is, for many people, a big issue as well, a big subject. So just tune in if that resonates with you, fear of losing control. If there's something else just coming up, just choose to tap on this. Just tune into your body and again, borrow benefits. Yes, so, and write down the SUD, sorry. Just check the intensity in your body of that body sensation. Write it down, and then we start to tap on it. Even though I'm feeling this fear of losing control, I love and accept myself fully and completely. Even though I have this feeling that everything is falling apart, I love and accept myself fully and completely. Even though I'm feeling all this uncertainty, I love and accept myself fully and completely. All this fear of losing of losing control, this feeling of everything falling apart, that might resonate very much with people, with some who lost loved ones. Under the eye, all this uncertainty. Under the nose, not knowing. Pinpoint what's coming next. Collarbone, where is this going? Under the arm, and it doesn't feel safe. Karate chop. So many changes all at once. top of the head, this is all new. Eyebrow, it doesn't feel familiar. Side of the eye, I don't know how to cope with it. Under the eye, I lost my routine. Under the nose, and I miss my old structure. Chin point, I never experienced anything like this before. Collarbone, I just don't know how to navigate through so many changes. Under the arm, all these changes. Karate chop, all that stress, all that fear. Top of the head, around these changes. Eyebrow, I feel it in my body. Side of the eye, I don't know even what I fear about. Under the eye, all this resistance of letting go. Under the nose, holding on to the old. Chin point, holding on to the known. Collarbone, holding on to the past. Under the arm, can't let it go. Karate chop, I wonder what happens. Top of the head, if I just choose to relax. Eyebrow, despite the changes. Side of the eye, I wonder if I can let my body relax even more. Under the eye, I wonder what happens. Under the nose, if I start to believe. Chin point, that positive change is possible. And find inner peace, collarbone. Peace in my body. All right. Tune into your body. Take a deep breath. And again, check if anything shifted, if that triggered something, and if you could release and could let go something. Yes? So, if you want to share it, your experiences, just you feel free to share it in the chat. And otherwise we can start with some positive tapping. Shall we? Shall I start, Jen, or do you want to start?
Whichever, either way.
Okay, so I just go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, okay, yeah. All right. Even though I don't have all the answers to all of my questions, I give myself permission to relax. Even though I don't know how this path unfolds, I choose to take one step at a time and to feel safe right here, right now. Even though I don't have all the answers yet, I allow my body to calm down. Top of the head. Releasing all these feelings. Eyebrow that had been stuck in my body for so long and piled up. Side of the eye, I can begin to relax. Under the eye, allowing my body to calm down. Under the nose, so I can find some answers. Chin, choosing to feel safe in my body. Collarbone, choose to breathe deeply. Under the arm, breathing in life and releasing what's no longer needed. Karate chop, I choose to feel safe. Top of the head, with these thoughts. Eyebrow, with these feelings. Side of the eye, with these emotions. Under the eye, I choose to choose my inner state consciously. Under the nose, this is my true power. Chin, this is my choice. Collarbone, this is my responsibility. Under the arm, and this is my mission. Karate chop, I choose to think beyond the outer circumstances. Top of the head, to see what I do have. Eyebrow, to focus on what I can do. Side of the eye, to recognize what is possible. Under the eye, to realize what does work. Under the nose, I feel open to new opportunities. Chin point, I choose to enjoy life. Collarbone, I choose peace. Under the arm, I choose freedom in my body. Karate chop, I choose to deal with the new circumstances calmly. Top of the head, I don't need all the answers right away. Eyebrow, I don't need all answers at once. Side of the eye, I allow myself to take one step at a time. Under the eye, and I allow myself to pause. Under the nose, I choose to breathe and tune inside. Chin, I choose to respond rather than react. Collarbone, I choose to be patient and kind to myself. Under the arm, I choose to be patient and kind to others. Karate chop, I choose to embrace every moment. Top of the head, I choose to find beauty in the world. Eyebrow, I choose to participate in the sunrise. Side of the eye, I choose to participate in the sunset. Under the eye, I choose to participate in life around me. Nose, I choose to participate in life within me. Chin, I choose to find meaning in every moment. Collarbone, I choose love over fear. Under the arm, and I choose to make my life meaningful and enjoyable. I have one more round. I choose to let my light shine brightly. Top of the head, I choose to be a light to myself. Eyebrow, I choose to be a light to others. Side of the eye, I choose to be open and honest to myself. Under the I choose open. I choose to be open and honest to others. I choose to be speaking my truth in a loving way. Chin, I choose to be in love with myself. Collarbone, I choose to be in love with others. Under the arm, I choose to be in love with life. And I love and accept myself fully and completely with every cell and every fiber in my body. And so it is. So some are writing they were yawning. So I think there was some energy releasing. Some energy.
That was beautiful, Rebekka. Nice way to end that up. Beautiful.
Yeah, if you want to add anything.
Just one thing I would say, sometimes you can keep going as Rebekka did and just take it higher and higher, and even tap till you're tapping in positives of love and peace and joy, just the way that she did, until you see it getting higher and higher and higher. So we don't have to stop at neutral or even a little above that. We can actually keep going up the scale of positive emotions until we can bring joy and inspiration and excitement. So keep that in mind, and even if as we get off the call here, you can do a few more rounds yourself, tapping in beautiful moments in your life, moments on the sailboat, moments at the beach with your pets, with your family, your peak moments. Now that you're neutral and a lot of the heaviness of the moment has gone away, you can tap in and just keep the vibration going higher. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Rebekka. That was amazing. And
thank you, Jen. For doing this with me. It was.
Thank you. Thanks, Marion, for.
Thanks, Marion. Yeah.
Getting us set up here.
Yeah. So.
Happy tapping.
Stay safe and stay healthy and enjoy life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.